Okay. Dude.
What?
Can you...
It's crazy.
I'm ready to go.
My favorite part was that, like, I watched that happen. Like, I knew it was intentional. Like, I saw him lean into it. I was like...
We are recording. I don't know if... This is just not, like, live yet. Is he 3? No. He's 4.
That's not him.
Oh, yeah. I guess he is 3? Wow.
I was like, bro.
You didn't realize that the whole time?
No. So I was looking at the roadcaster and I see him.
There's your little Zoom moment for later.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You want a drink?
You want a glass of Ruby?
No. That sounded like Ellen.
No.
No.
Who do you think I got it from?
Yeah. My daughter.
All
Ellen,
right.
you hungry? No.
No.
Do you want a cookie? Yeah. Okay, kid. No. No.
Test,
All right.
test.
Good. All right, I'm just going to do the intro.
Okay.
Okay.
Today?
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to this very special episode, this Mother's Day episode. So if you're listening, take a moment, pause the video, go say Happy Mother's Day to your mother. I got together the perfect cast for this episode because on this day, Mother's Day, is my birthday. In my whole life growing up, there was a lot of birthdays that were split with my mom. And typically how those birthdays would go is we do the reservation, the dinner reservation, the lunch reservation, or whatever my mom wanted to do that day. So very rarely, or throughout my experience, I never had my day. So I want to bring on the people that really can emphasize the Mother's Day. So with me, as always, is Gio.
What's up? So, before I even continue, he was definitely a middle child, right?
Yeah. What
Okay.
makes you think that?
My guest today is my brother. So same mother. I told you we're keeping the theme there. We say mother, so there is a Mother's Day theme. You have a wife and a daughter, so you also know another mother that's very close to you. That's what, you didn't like that?
Well, I have a mother too, so that would
Yeah.
probably be the closest thing to
Does everybody have a mother?
appreciating Mother's Day.
Does everybody have a mother?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Chris, thanks for coming on for this. It's my birthday special, so we're calling it that. I'm reclaiming my day. And
Middle
finally,
child.
one of the most beloved third mic appearances finished his lunch, so is no longer chewing in the mic. Dad, how we doing?
Hey, this is a great day.
It
Great
is
day.
a great
Happy
day.
birthday.
Is he coming in loud enough?
He's good at the podcasting thing because not your birthday when we're recording this.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he's like, hey,
good
happy
acting.
birthday.
Yeah. I didn't even catch that. I just
And does
I
he
go-
also have the same mother? Is that how is this
No,
the trend?
no.
Oh, okay, maybe I
No,
missed it.
but
True. I still don't really understand the.
yeah, I don't know. So I don't know where I'm going when I start talking.
The same mother, but I'm not sure if it's the same father because they're both totally different. No, just kidding.
We can talk about
Surprise!
I'd hope
No.
you'd be sure if they were the same.
Happy birthday, Brandon.
No, he's
You're
all
adopted.
good. All good.
that.
Now we see what.
Thanks.
No, because he acts too much like me.
That's true, and we're hopefully going to get into all of those crazy things. And now I have my brother here to kind of help advocate for the amazing person that is my father. So happy Father's Day too. But
That's
Napoleon,
Mother's Day.
I picked a nice little quote for this episode to kind of take us away. So
Hi, folks. It's me again. Yeah, that guy that you all inside have a piece of in your hearts. Well, I'm just wishing you all a nice, spectacular, grand Sunday. I want you all to enjoy my video that I'm currently making while you're eating your cabbage or your lettuce or your macaroni and cheese or your biscuits or your coleslaw. And I want you all to enjoy my video. Okay?
I am.
It's Sunday. It's the end of the week for a lot of you. I know you're all tired.
It's beginning.
But listen, it's Monday tomorrow. And it's the start of the next week. Okay? Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. You all love me, don't you? Have a nice day.
You never know when it's ending.
Amen.
Amen. Amen to that. Take it away, Gio. Want to give me a still or two into the camera?
One of those stills that aren't actually a still.
Yeah. I use it as a still.
But it's still in the video.
No,
Yeah,
you gotta do the YouTube face.
There we go. we finally made it.
Perfect. That's the one.
No, this is the one.
Unboxing.
Yeah.
Andrew Huberman.
Yeah.
You need to get that doorbell? Where's Mom upstairs?
Oh, I thought that was one of your things going on.
No? No? All right. Well, he's going to definitely hit one of these. You took the tighter gap.
Oh, I
Great.
hit it.
Ah, jeez. No, I didn't. Don't worry about it. Don't adjust it. The Gio's got it. All right, so this is off to the exact type of start that I anticipated.
This is good because you still didn't tell me. What are you having him do?
He's just third mic.
He's not gonna read this text though.
No,
You're not gonna have him read the text.
Oh, yes, this is.
I figured this is about the. This is
Do
the
you
whole.
have the screenshot? I don't.
I
have
figured
it
you
with-
would.
No.
This is no.
'Cause
My
I-
phone's upstairs.
I
Sorry.
decided I didn't want to read the
alright.
text. But essentially, I should just.
Yeah, you should have had him read the text. That's what I. Because that's the whole reason why I was sitting down here. You know. Because then when he reads it out loud, he's got.
Oh, you want the revelation on the episode?
Yeah. I thought that's what we were doing.
No, I didn't really plan it out like that. So essentially, my dad had texted my brother the other day. You were getting out of work early or something, and you were
I
trying
had
to meet
a
up for lunch.
cancellation right around lunch, so I had an hour lunch break that I usually don't get.
Yeah, and he sends you a text that's very just dad text.
Yeah.
Oh my god, where is my phone? This is crazy.
Is that not it? Right behind you?
Yeah.
There's two right behind
Oh
you.
yeah, that's
Object permanence.
So he sends my brother a text. I guess he was kind of busy, but he was so confusing.
He was already doing something for lunch, but he told me to come here
Yeah.
because Mom was here and I can have his go-to lunch.
And he can have the go-to lunch, which I thought
All right,
the
well, he's
funniest
coming back
part
down.
was the go-to lunch.
No.
Do you want me to have him read it?
Well, I want you.
Let's do
it's
it.
your
No, I like
podcast,
it.
So.
My podcast, he's my dad's amazing. So
Ta-da!
So I'm going to be trying my dad's
he's
go-to
back.
lunch, but before we get into the breakdown of this lunch, because I have some things to say about it, that's what I thought was the funniest part. You were texting Chris the other day about this said go-to lunch,
High protein, good vegetables.
but I want you to read back the actual text you sent. So
Just for the listeners.
just for the listeners, Dad, can you read right here? Just your text to Chris.
And just read the text.
Just read what you see. You're a good reader.
No, read it out loud.
Out loud,
not to
yeah,
yourself.
dude.
It's a podcast. All right, everybody. Sorry for the 30-second
So
silence.
he asked me if he wanted to. What did you just say?
We already laid the.
Oh, you already laid that?
foundation.
Yeah.
Just read the text.
I am, but unfortunately, I made plans last night to go out and have lunch with other sorry,
Super people.
yeah,
Super
super
people.
people. Stop by the house and maybe Mom can take out some salmon for lunch,
Not bad.
or have canned sardines with lettuce and a cooked onion.
And
My go.
read the text.
Read the words.
Oh
on
well,
the-
that's how it goes, man.
that's how it goes. So
he's not gonna read
Can you
the text?
Can you tell us how it goes? Can you read it? Can you read it?
So you're not gonna read.
Oh, a typo. So what? Like when you
What typo? What are you talking about? What type of onions do we have?
Yeah, a cooked onion.
Well, fortunately for you, I'm also dyslexic. So he
I'm
sent
not
me this.
dyslexic. I just, you don't.
No.
Sometimes when you text and it gives you a different.
Yeah. So
yeah, but
so
sometimes you
didn't-
text and you say, I don't. It's a very monotonous little thing, but then sometimes you type that. Sometimes you type in muck instead of duck, and sometimes you type something else instead of duck.
That happens. Does happen. And you don't. If you look at it, and I don't always read. I just boom, boom, let it go. Yeah, it happens.
I know you don't always read it.
Do you ever text to speech? Your
Sometimes.
yeah. I wonder if that one was
No, it wasn't.
just a Freudian slip.
Just nope. Just big fat thumbs.
Big fat thumbs. All right. So not a cocked onion, a cooked onion.
Well, we should read what the text actually says, so
All right.
that anyone listening is kind of
Oh gosh.
understand.
I'm
what we're
going to
talking
start saving
Yeah.
all the misspelled
Go
emails,
ahead.
texts that I get.
You should. Oh, from Brandon?
Yeah.
That's every single one for me.
Yeah. We had a whole debacle the other a couple weeks
Let
ago.
me read it.
All right. I was just waiting for everyone to stop.
I am, but unfortunately, I made plans last night to go out and have lunch with other super people. Sorry. Stop by the house and maybe Mom can take out some salmon for lunch, or have some canned sardines with lettuce and a cocked onion. My go-to, with a big smiley emoji.
That's right. You
So-
can't forget the big smiley emoji.
Stop by the house and maybe Mom can take out some salmon for lunch, or have some canned sardines with lettuce and a cocked onion. My go-to. Big smiley emoji, like the biggest smile, the one that shows teeth and everything. A nice cocked
I guess you
onion.
didn't find that too humorous, huh?
So I send
He's
this.
he's still flinching from it.
So I send this to all of my closest people. My wife, my sister, my brother. My wife and my sister immediately laughed. Brandon sends me back, haha, so funny that would be his go-to lunch. So dad to want sardines for lunch. And I said, Brandon, read it again. And he goes, what? I mean, yeah, it's just weird that.
It's just a weird way of saying.
And then I
like,
said, Brandon, read it again. And we sent 4 or 5 text exchanges back and forth.
You know that this is
before
the
I had
first
to
time I
go.
actually saw it. And
Yes, I know that's the first time you actually saw it. And Brandon's like, yeah, it's funny, man. I get that it's a sardines. And it's like, no, Brandon. He said cocked onion.
Yeah.
That's what's funny.
You're like, what type of onions? And I'm like, I don't know, cooked onion. Like, what do you mean? And I still didn't get it. You like had to paint the picture, like it'll just reveal the joke. But I still find it so hysterical, and it's funny.
But then there's that.
It actually was so funny to me that your go-to. Okay, so a go-to is something that you have a couple times a week. If it's a go-to lunch.
Yeah, it is.
How many times a week do you have lettuce? Which he just says lettuce. We find out it's actually arugula.
Which is, whatever. It's
Yeah, it's basically
A
that.
cooked onion, which is, how do you cook these onions?
Air
Boiled.
fry, baby.
Air fry. Just toss it in the air fryer for a
Boil.
couple minutes. And just a can of sardines just pops out a couple sardines. Just
Delicious.
eat them. Eat the bones and everything. And that's his meal. I get your point of the nutrients. It has your protein. It has the onion is whatever. Fats, but what like nutrients comes from the onion, or do you not know? You just
zinc, vitamin
You've just
B,
been told-
D, A, S,
Okay.
K, L,
It's got
M, N, O, P,
electrolytes in it.
Q, R, S, T, U, V. I don't know.
Like Gatorade.
yeah. And then the arugula. Okay, it's vegetable.
You gotta
whatever.
make some color. You gotta put color into the plate.
So it's for color.
Oh, yeah,
It's an aesthetic thing.
Yeah, you're gonna
You
put
still
some
eat
color.
it.
Yeah,
Your eyes eat first, Brandon.
That's right.
So you have this meal about 3 times a week.
I wouldn't say 3, maybe 2.
A
Yeah, but
typical-
I can get 3 sometimes, but
And I know you do it because it's like fast, it's easy, it has everything you
that's
need,
when it's
right?
quick. Yeah, that's right.
All right. So like, I think a pretty typical go-to lunch could be something like a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Too long.
Too long.
Oh my god. Oh my
You gotta get the
god.
bread out, and I gotta
All right.
spread it out.
Either way.
Okay. Do you want to walk through the work making what you just made versus a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
listen, it's
You're
still-
saying
it's still
a
better.
peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, I'll give you nutrition
all right.
and still convenient.
Yeah.
But do not say that is easier to make than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
You saw me
You got to
make
get the bread out. You had to slice an onion. First of all, you had to
I did
peel and slice an onion.
No, that's what moms do.
Happy Mother's
Okay,
Day.
that's another thing. Yeah.
Mother's true job.
Yeah, can
Slice
you hand
the
me that,
onions.
the plate? I'm gonna try this go-to meal. So way back when I first had this revelation, because I think most of my listeners know at this point, I call my dad on my commutes home every day. So this whole thing happened with my brother, and I'm like, okay, cocked onions. But I still am very interested about the idea of this being a go-to lunch. To me, it just reads as like a 1920s widower that just has the overgrown garden that's like, she used to put this in salads and stuff, and I guess I can go fishing or something down the street, and I got a fish, or what else do I have? I feel like it's not enough. Just let us say, I'll toss in an onion. Onions are easy.
I see what you're saying, but it also has a lot of vibes of like a 2020 sort of meal too. Like exactly why he has it. Because oh, did you know sardines is high in DHEA omega-3s? Did you know that arugula is high in vitamin B? And if you grill an onion, so it's that too.
Because these are sweet onions.
Sweet
onions.
right.
Sweet onions.
So as you're explaining what a sweet onion is, I'm gonna try this meal. When we talked about doing this, you said I'm not wasting my sardines and arugula and onions on you guys. So if I give you this meal, you have to finish it. If I don't finish it on this podcast, I promise I will finish. I'll clean my plate. But just to give this a good old college try. Oh boy.
Oh, you didn't even get an onion, dude.
I know, you need the sweetness.
You gotta have the sweet cocked onion.
It's all.
Look at that cocked onion going into it.
Oh, yeah. Nice and cocked.
Nice and sweet. Doesn't it taste like you just put maple syrup on the...
I will say personally, I had it without the onion first, but the onion is what I think complements the rest. Because it's otherwise it's a little too bitter because of the arugula, but the onion actually helps complement.
I will say, too,
adding the
I
sweetness.
have no issue with this meal.
I
have no issue with this meal.
It's simple,
I
it's
really,
sweet, it's nice.
I'm used to getting picked on.
I
think
really
it's-
only had an issue with the text that was sent in regards to this meal, and I had a slight issue with the fact that this is a weekday or workday lunch, and going back to work having just eaten. You say
Onions
cooked.
and sardines.
You say cooked, but it's charred on the outside, but most of that onion is a raw onion, right?
I like
If I hear you crunching, you're still eating somewhat raw. onion.
The job I have, I want to keep people away from me.
Yeah, clearly.
So
We'll say saute.
But I would 100%, like a summer day or a weekend, I would eat this 100% and enjoy it. I would do a lot different with how I prepare it. But no, I have no problem with the meal. I only had a problem with the text. And then the more we talked about
do
the meal
you want
itself,
an apology for the text?
No.
It
It was funny.
Thing
It
is-
was
No,
funny.
it was like the
I'm
greatest thing.
glad I was.
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna laugh because life is about
gonna
trying
finish
to
this
laugh.
up.
The
Yes,
more you
I
laugh,
agree.
the
I
better
agree.
you are.
It all set on the side. I'll finish that up later. It was, I agree, again, not a bad meal, especially a quick little lunch. I don't hate it, but I get your point with it's like you don't want to go back to work. I never give a crap with my when I work, but multiple times a week, that is too much for that meal. That is not a go-to meal.
I have no problem with that meal. That's a very nutritious meal. It's probably good to have for lunch because it's not heavy. You can get on with your day. So I guess where it might be different for me is where I wear a mask at work.
Oh,
So
right.
So you just got to smell fish the whole time?
So raw onion.
Yeah.
Bro, I had a banana this morning, and it was same thing like that.
That's not a good one.
I don't like bananas
That-
at all.
I love bananas, but I
The
very
lingering.
rarely have them.
Yeah.
See, because it was a half day today, so I was like, I'm gonna be able to have lunch, and I usually intermittent fast, so I don't eat till like 1 o'clock anyway. But I just brought a banana just in case, and I was bored, so I, ate the banana and put the mask on, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
And then I cook a lot too, so like there's been times where I make like whether it be like an authentic chili with like smoked chilies, or if I like an Indian curry and stuff like that, and it just like
Oh, right.
not even it's not always a bad smell, but you just smell the meal, bro. So it's got to be like a nice cocked onion and Sardines, I can't breathe.
Yep, and you just wash it down with a nice banana.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. Or
it's like
well,
still my
don't forget
teeth.
in between the banana and the sardines, a nice swig of apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
icing on the cake.
I'll be hearing about his sensitive teeth in the next couple months.
I remember one time, like the first time I had ever tried apple cider vinegar, it was like this older woman at a job I was working at. She was like, "It's healthy for you. You got to do it. You just take a nice shot of it right in the morning and you're good." And I was just like, "It smells weird though." And then she was like, she goes, "Just try it. Trust me." And I took a shot and I swear to God, I was maybe like, if I had gotten maybe a drip more, I probably would have puked at work. Like, it was the grossest thing I had ever had, and ever since then, I was like, I avoid it. Like, even if there's a recipe that says apple cider vinegar, I'm just like, regular vinegar is perfectly fine for this recipe.
right.
Like,
It's very
Oh,
good.
you really are adverse to the apple cider vinegar,
like
especially.
that taste.
Yeah,
is
that's the
gross.
phenomenon
It's
of like
not the vinegar.
puking
Yeah.
with like getting hungover from some cheap college beverage.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, now I can't drink Smirnoff ever again.
Yeah, it's like me and desserts.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't like desserts for that.
Hot
Pod dog.
yeah.
Too bad he's off screen, but
Yeah, that makes
he's
sense.
here.
I've been doing a lot of functional mushrooms, like experimenting.
What are you doing?
I found it's a brand. The brand I use is Four Sigmatic because the coffee
That's the most
shop
common
down the
one.
street was using it. And I bought 2 of their blends. I bought a their like Defend blend, which is just kind of like a balance of like everything. Like it's a little immunity, a little this, a little, and then the one that I really enjoy and try to like use it like from time to time is their Think one, which is mainly Lion's Heart.
Mane.
Oh, Lion's Mane.
Lion's
that's right.
Heart.
I thought it was Lion's Heart. It's not
Lion's
Heart?
mane.
Lion's
Because it
mane?
looks like a lion's mane, the actual mushroom itself.
Yeah.
So I actually had a quick question. I know that you're kind of diving into like what you've been going into lately with like the mushroom things, and I've been hearing you talk about it a lot off air. But what exactly are these mushrooms? Like I've never heard of.
I don't know. Joe Rogan talked about them.
Oh, okay. Well,
No,
I'm still lost.
I can't say I've done my own, like a whole lot of my own research. I just know.
Oh, you
like,
can't?
I don't know. Joe Rogan.
Yeah, but like I've heard not just Joe Rogan talking about it. Like I've heard Huberman talking about it. I've seen some of the other, like even when in terms of like the psychedelics and stuff, and how there's starting to be a lot more research into how those are, good treatments for different, a lot of mental diseases. So I'm like, well, I want to like learn for myself. I want to experience it myself. Like I want to, and I would say in the recent history, the I've not even been using them or like having them for a month now. But it's a lot placebo.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably entirely
Doesn't matter.
placebo, but like,
Placebo's great.
yeah.
Placebo works. It works, and that's why medications have to perform better than placebo in studies, because placebo actually works. And every study you do, people on the end that aren't getting whatever supplement or medication that you see improvements because of placebo.
Right.
So you have to be better than placebo to like get
Outperform,
yeah. So placebo works.
Which
And
a lot of times the way you get better than a placebo is by also creating a lot of side effects. Like
yes and no.
like well, because I have this way of thinking. It's like if you are kind of, it's like chapstick. Like the more you use chapstick, the more you need chapstick. So whatever the thing is, it's like your body is never learning how to deal or overcome with, whether it's pain or like it's a mental thing or whatever. Like obviously I think there's a place for antibiotics and all that, but I believe that if you can recover from it just naturally, it's going to be better. Whereas if you start recovering with the other thing, you're not even going to know when that threshold kind of like has been passed of like, is it still actually working, or is it just like my body's like needing it now? Like,
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
So speaking of Mr. Natural.
I mean, you're right there, but with
Oh,
the
yeah, sorry, we
mushrooms,
didn't finish it.
right? Like, the thing is what is your goal? You want more mental clarity, like whatever you want. What in those mushrooms is getting you there? Because a lot of times there's some component, And a lot of times, whatever that component is, there's usually a more direct supplement of that component to get you there. And it's almost better to, like, whatever's in those mushrooms, whatever components are making up that lion's mane, we want to keep it part of your daily routine, and you might feel some minor changes, and you might be placebo, might not be, whatever it is. As long as you're seeing improvements, great. But if you were to take that supplement at the right dose for you, you'd probably see more noticeable changes. So like the mushroom stuff's great, and it's a good place to start. I'm glad you're like experimenting with like, all right, let me supplement in some way and see how it feels in my body. But like, the more you kind of experiment, the more you're going to realize, like, okay, it's not the mushroom, it's not the lion's mane, it's the alpha GPC, or it's the whatever kind of components are in there. And then you can start supplementing
and then that. As you do it in that way, too, you also understand yourself better, because if the placebo of the lion's heart is working and it has the lion's mane is working and it's having those benefits, it might be because like whatever the actual chemical is, you just have a low whatever for, and you don't need the other chemicals and everything else.
Yeah, it might be that you're low.
And I call them chemicals, supplements, whatever.
It might be that you're low in something and you're taking a supplement to get back to baseline and feeling better that way. But there are some supplements that are like, yeah, if you're slightly above baseline, now you're going to perform a little bit better. But then it works the other way too. Like there's some that your body can only process so much, so you go way over the threshold and you're peeing out or processing a lot of it, or you can start having downstream negative effects too. So
from taking too much mushroom?
Not
just
necessarily mushroom,
just supplement in general. Okay,
supplements in general. I guess, I mean, there's a threshold for everything. You probably could take too much.
Yeah, you
or
could have
sigmatic
too much
or something like that.
go-to meals.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I wanted to bring up another topic that is, we talked about this one
recently. This was
recently.
supposed to be Mother's Day, not Father's pick on day.
The
whole point is that it's Brandon's birthday, so he gets to talk about whatever he wants because it's not Mother's Day right now.
But that's every day. What's that going to do with Brandon's birthday? Every day is his day. He does what he wants. Chalk says what he wants and does what he wants.
Middle child syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah, every commute home phone call ends with, all right, sorry for talking at you the whole time. I'll see you tomorrow. But
he thinks I'm listening, but you know what? I got the phone on the desk, and he doesn't even know I'm not listening. No,
you do listen. But
So what
you do listen, but even like if you weren't listening at all, I don't need you to be there. I just need to know that there is someone there. Because
I enjoy your calls every day.
The days that you have a
meeting.
meeting.
Thank you for calling.
You're welcome. The days that you have a meeting or whatever and you're busy and I talk to myself. So I'm doing the same thing, but I actually get a lot out of it. Especially, with like recently, journaling a lot and also going on the walks as like my little meditation, thinking out my thoughts. They can never be fully formed until I have the revelation that I need to speak to somebody about. Because it's when I'm explaining it in my head, I can skip a lot of steps along the logical path. But when I'm trying to explain that thought or that revelation or whatever it is back to someone, I realize I can't skip details. I have to like fully articulate it. So that's why I get so much out of those phone calls. Whenever usually during the phone call, I'm still in the thinking process. But then after we have the phone call, I go on my walk, and now I'm like, all right, here's the pieces. Now I connect the dots. Now I have my theory. But one of the things that is hilarious to me, and I know that it works, and I know it's probably more true for more people than I will lead on in this conversation. But can you tell me about waking up early? If you're away at a conference, you got to wake up early. You don't use alarms. You don't like the phone alarms.
No.
Let's start there. Why do you not like phone alarms? You were telling me.
What I was telling you with the conversation we had earlier, it was about I don't like alarms because I don't like being awake and just be startled.
You
I
don't-
don't like that.
You don't want to be
like that.
startled to start your day.
I do not, and it gives me I don't know. I just don't like it. So I wake up before. I will set my alarm if I'm away and and I have to be.
Right.
So I set alarm, but I'm gonna make sure I wake up before the alarm wakes me up.
Right, but it kind of like you hated it going all the way back to like high school days. Like
Yeah, when I used to work I used to have a job where I had to start at 5 in the morning, had to get up at 4 in the morning, but that 4 in the morning comes really fast, and that and then it's buzzing on you, and it just
Somehow
I don't
you
like
wanna
that.
start.
I don't want to start that way, and it just gets you
you
all.
go back to work like this. My mouth is like.
See what I'm saying? Thank you. I say nothing about the nutrition of that meal. It's a fantastic
I'm
meal.
getting your point
That's
now.
what I'm talking about.
I can't even let.
All you can taste is sardine and cocked onion, right?
I don't really.
A
taste
little
onion.
arugula, maybe.
No, just
sardine.
Sardine.
Oh.
Just the cock.
Thank
So-
you.
so-
Prove my point.
I forgot how it came up the first time, but I was essentially saying like,
I just said, just do it. Just get
just
up.
get up. Don't set an alarm. Just get up. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, and I'm like, I know we're gonna have a great revelation from this. So you said, don't set an alarm. Just get up. Oh, I have to get up at 6 o'clock. Well, it's easy. Just go to bed. Your body, if you go to bed, you got to get up at a certain time. Your body's gonna wake up.
That's oh my
And
god,
I'm like,
that's so bad.
Isn't that just like starting your day instead of being startled with anxiety?
Yes.
Like, so then you wake up at 3:30, and I was like, so what happens?
I'm
when
okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So what do? I'll
There's
go
the-
back to sleep. My body will wake me up again.
Your body. You mean your heart rate.
Yeah.
All right, fall back to sleep. Don't sleep too long.
I'm like, I just like it doesn't. You can't just.
We
get
kind of started this with him hitting the alarm and having to hit the alarm 3-4 times. I said, why do people have to do that? Why do they have to be?
Oh yeah, because I think Booth Babe had so many at the time.
It wakes you up for that alarm time. Get up. Just get up and go.
That is the right thing to do.
You keep hitting it up, and why?
I think to just not set an alarm if your body's not in a certain circadian rhythm that you can get up at 4 o'clock, or you need to be up way earlier than you typically wake up, to just not set an alarm and be anxious all night about, I hope I wake up on time, is not the right thing to do. But definitely don't snooze 15 times.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
I set my
for
alarm.
me, I can kind of go in between where it'll be like, I'll set my alarm always for like just in case measures.
Yeah.
But like 9 times out of 10, it's almost like every time I'm about to wake up, it's usually 2 to 5 minutes before I'm supposed to wake up that my brain's just like, you're awake now.
Yeah.
And then I get upset because I still wanted that 2 to 5 minutes. And that's my like snooze. It's just like, I'm going to wait that 2 to 5 minutes till the actual alarm goes off.
Yeah. Right.
And then
Right.
you're out.
I set my alarm too when I go, and these are only cases when I have to get up for I have to, get to the plane, and then I don't want to miss my plane,
Right.
and so I set it up because I have some, but otherwise I don't use
Like
alarm
your
for any-
average day.
My average day is
you
never
just,
no,
you
just
get up.
Yeah, you wake up early enough regularly before you need to really
yes.
get moving.
I mean, I'm
that
talking about
cement.
2 hours before.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
2 hours.
And-
Worst case scenario, you sleep in an extra half an hour and you're still fine.
I'm still good, but I mean that's why I do use it, but I don't like being awakened by.
That's
by
fair.
alarm.
You don't like being awakened, but you're like, because when we were first talking about it, you were saying like that's like the advice you'd give to the general populace, like just wake up, like don't worry, like you were essentially saying don't worry, you will wake up, like your body will wake you up, and I'm like, but what about when it doesn't? Like then you're waking up anxious, then you're waking up anxious and late. Now, like it's just such a stupid. But you're so matter of fact, like no, your body will wake you up when it needs. I'm like.
It is training your body. I mean, if you want to try that, you can try
That's
that
a
on
big
the weekend.
thing.
It's
That-
everything's about training your
If
body.
you have,
Everything's about, that describes your lifestyle. Everything is about training your body, and that's been you raised us on that. What were you saying?
like, if you have one day where you got to get up, if you usually get up at 6 and you got to get up at 4, like, no, do not just like not set your alarm and hope that
Yeah.
you wake up.
no, I would set
But
my alarm, but I
definitely-
would wake up before the alarm.
But definitely, if you can train yourself so that you don't wake up to an alarm every day, that's definitely the better thing to do.
Right.
Or not to have an alarm every single morning. My alarm goes off at this, and I wake up. Like 100% better for you to have your like circadian rhythm set up so that you go to bed at this time and wake up at this time.
Right.
Definitely, that's the better place to be. But like, I like, it's definitely not good advice to be like, oh, you got to get up at 4 this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll wake up.
Yeah, you'll do it.
You can.
You can.
You won't sleep.
But it's not. It's like you need to
No, but
build
see,
that
I-
over time. Like you
yes,
say, you're gonna
yes.
train your body, but like when
say-
you're saying it, I know you believe that. Like, yeah, it's something that you train your body. I know that's what you're. But you're not saying that out loud. You're just saying your body will do it. Don't worry.
It's not your body. Your subconscious wakes you up.
Okay.
Because you're going to bed saying, "Geez, I don't have much. I know I have to get up at 4 in the morning, and I usually
Yeah.
sleep
See what
past
he
4.
just said? See, because you go to bed and your subconscious says, "Oh, jeez."
Yeah.
You're going
That's
to bed
awesome.
anxious and stressed out because you hope to God that you wake up at the right time.
No, you don't go
That's
to bed.
not the right thing to do.
That's the superpower.
yeah.
There's the super people.
Yeah, so you just go to bed and your mind goes, "Oh, geez." Like, that's not how you should be going to bed. That's the problem.
That's how you keep yourself alive longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Just
then
create constant heart work.
Yeah,
Your heart's just constantly going. Your heart's going to be strong as you get older.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Constant
Just-
heart attacks on a day-to-day.
yeah.
I do.
But does it kill you? It makes you stronger, right?
Until it kills you.
Yeah, there's a lot of studies about like how important sleep is, and I think we're coming out of the generation of like, the
Sleep
work
when you're
hard, sleep when you're dead, and we're starting to like go. It's way more efficient and better for the long term for you to.
There's a guy. His name's Brian Johnson. Absolute nutcase. Look him up. Bryan. He was a business guy. Sold some company to PayPal for $800 million. Then dedicated his life to longevity. Like, he wants to live to 200, right? And he's you listen to him talk, and he's just a weirdo. But very interesting. Like, he spends millions of dollars a year doing everything he can to live as long as he can. He's got his, eating window all dialed in. He eats the same thing every day at the same times. He's got the calories of his meals down to 1,977 calories. He takes 60 pills in the morning as supplements. 60. And then he gets his blood work basically every day. He sits under an infrared. It almost looks like a tanning booth, but it's infrared for healing and for half an hour every single day. He does literally his whole life is designed to live as long as he can. But one thing,
Irony.
the reason I'm bringing this up is because the one thing he talks about is, of all the things that he does, the sleep is the most important. Not necessarily just for longevity. So
right.
Well, then I'm fucked.
and
Yeah.
but there was one quote that really hit me because you're talking about the whole sleep when you're dead kind of thing. Is he said, our whole life is designed, our whole sleeping habit is, if I have something to do, I'll just go to bed a little later or wake up a little bit earlier. You compromise on sleep. But he does the opposite. His sleep comes first, and if he has something to do, he goes, I guess I'll have to do that tomorrow. Sleep comes first before anything. The room that he sleeps in is like a complete blackout room. All there is a bed. There's not even a light. There's no distractions. He's weird. He's like, I don't sleep with anybody because it interrupts my sleep. And he I don't know what app he uses or what system he uses, but he was showing this video that I saw. He was showing that he had 30. His goal was to get 30 consecutive days of 100% perfect sleep score.
Yeah.
And he had one day that was 98, so he had to start over. But he goes to bed at the exact same time, and what he said is sleep comes first. Everything else gets compromised. Not shoot, I gotta stay up an extra half hour, and I'm not saying this guy's a scientist, but clearly he's put a lot of time and money into figuring out what's best for longevity. And he said number one thing before all of the supplements that he takes, all of the exercise routine that he has, number one is sleep.
And
I
another,
use the sleep monitor. I know.
So
I know my rate.
There are studies that show that there are people that sleep worse with those because all they're doing is trying to check their sleep scores. No. It's almost like there's some people that are exercising to hit a certain calorie threshold, and your quality of exercise, if you're going for strength or something or endurance, isn't getting there. You're just getting to that number, and you're almost, so for sleep, you're almost more
I've had
focused on passing the test instead of actually sleeping well.
I've had it for about 2 years now. I don't think that occurs because I know when I have my low I'll give you an example. I got my lowest, it says good, which was an 81, but only because of what I did last night. But and I got to bed late, and but I usually get, if I go to my regular time and wake up at regular time, it's in my 90s. I never get past the 92, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive mine probably thinks I have like sleep apnea or something like that. Like mine's just like, you keep waking up and moving. And I'm just like, yeah, sometimes it's just like the dream that I'll be having will be just a cool dream, and I'll wake up out of excitement and being like, oh, that's so cool. I need to write this down.
Yeah.
Like,
It does measure it measures your heart rates and stuff like that. So even if and it also measures how deep of a sleep you get, and it all factors into those things, and it also factors the length of time you're in bed resting, because you don't get your. I notice if I wasn't getting my full good 8 hours in the bed, you know what I mean. My score was in the 90s. It was good, but in the 80s, but. It wasn't, but that does, measures a lot of your heart rates and how
For your
fast
8 hours, do you is it when you're laying, as soon as you lay in bed and then 30 minutes to fall asleep, or is it like 8 hours of sleep is like just when you fall asleep?
I think it starts measuring you as soon as you like lay down, and it kind of knows when you.
There's different parts of
but
recovery
the
during
whole-
sleep
yeah.
too.
But
and it's-
in terms of getting 8 hours of sleep, that's like 8 hours of time where your
Like
eyes
a
are
REM?
closed and you're actually sleeping.
so
Not just REM, but like, it's not like, all right, I'm going to grab my book. I'm going to read my book from 7 to 7:30. I'm going to close my book, shut off the light.
it's
And
measuring quality.
It's quality. It measures
It's
quality.
not just
not
like
the 8.
how long are you laying down with your eyes closed.
But I mean more about the statistic that like 8 hours is the rule of thumb for how much sleep the average person should get. Is it like time sleeping, or is it
that's just
time in
that's
bed?
just the amount of time that most people can get the right phases of sleep at the
Yes.
right amounts of time.
Okay.
But everybody's different. If you drink a lot
Yes.
and you crash and you sleep for 10 hours and you check your score, it's going to be garbage, because the quality of sleep, like how long your brain was in certain, not necessarily just REM is like deep sleep, but around REM, like the 30 to 90 minutes around REM are almost more important for recovery than REM is.
It measures your heart rate too. So your heart rate may be off because you like, if you like, example, you're absolutely right. When you drink, I've noticed that I could be in 8 hours in the bed, and I wake up, even though I wasn't drinking a lot, it's not going to be a good score.
Yeah. You feel like you slept like a
You
baby,
feel-
so it's not time. It's just 8 hours for most people is how much time they need to sleep so they get all of the right phases at all of the right amounts of time.
yeah, I think I'm starting to realize I need sometimes a little less than 8. If I sleep a full 8, I actually wake up like drained the next day.
So that might mean, so what do you mean by a little bit more than 8? Like
So,
8
like-
and a half?
No, sometimes if I sleep like I'll go to bed at like
Yes.
maybe 12, right?
Yep.
And I'll wake up at like either 8 or 8:30 or something
Yep.
like that, and I'll be tired. But if I wake up at 7:30, I'm wide awake and ready to go.
So that might mean you need to sleep till 9 because you're at the early.
You're like missing a phase.
So
kind of?
you entered so
Interesting.
everything's in, I think it's like 90-minute sort of cycles, and you might have, if you wake up at 8, you might have woke up at like so you pass 7, like you said, 7:30 you feel good, and then 8 you don't. You might have started into that 90-minute cycle, and if you finished that cycle and woke up at the next end of that cycle, you'd have felt great. But you woke up in the middle. It's almost the same. So 7:30 is the spot where you feel good. It's almost like you would have woke up at 6. You woke up in the middle of the cycle. It's not necessarily like the length of time. It's where you ended up sleeping. And a lot of that comes down to like what almost controls your sleep more than anything is body temperature. And obviously
Really?
room temperature can influence your body temperature. So
What do they suggest? Like warm, cold,
cold.
cold.
Yeah. So most people sleep better in cold.
Yeah, I
I like
know
to sleep
that.
under a bunch of blankets.
That's
Like
right.
I
Is
like
that-
weight.
Is that
That's
included? Like
but you need the room cold, right? You don't want to be sweating underneath the blankets, right?
So if
But
you
in the
have a-
summer, if you're everybody has
I'll
been
sleep,
through
like,
that hot
naked.
summer night. Everybody's been through that hot
yes,
summer
like
night where you're just
sleepless,
tossing
yep.
and turning, wide awake.
Wow.
Whereas
oh.
like there's some really cold nights you get all bundled up and then you like don't even roll over and you just
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, you're like, holy crap, I just slept for 8 hours and didn't move a muscle.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think
Rock
of that.
solid sleep. It comes down. So there's a lot of like mattress covers and mattresses and stuff that you can get right now that, and this guy Brian Johnson has like this super complex system where like he's got his body temperatures being measured, and the whole room and the mattress will adjust to his body temperature to keep him at a cool. Your body temperature will drop. Some people will drop 3-degree body temperature. Like your 98.6 will drop down to like 95 when
Just
they're
like resting.
in deep sleep. And then once your body starts to heat up, imagine that's things in motion.
Yeah.
Your body temperature is a result of burning energy.
Mm-hmm.
So your body starts to heat up, and it thinks like, all right, we're waking up. Like it's time to roll. So a lot of times, like if you waking up at 9, it might start getting warmer in the place you live. Some people live in an apartment where like the heat's like automated, and like the heat starts kicking in. Different things like that. Or if it gets really cold at night, like in the winter, and you have the heat on, and the heat automatically starts to kick in, and now the room's getting hotter, you get hotter, you wake up. Most of the time.
So he purposely has it so that like after the
This
certain
guy-
cycle,
this guy,
it'll
yeah.
start heating up so that he wakes up. Does he do that?
I don't know about his wake cycle. I think he's got it kind of locked in like Dad, where
Oh, okay. Yeah.
he goes to bed at the same time. And the other thing he says, when he wakes up, he never lays in bed. The second his eyes open,
Yeah.
I'm up and out.
But
But I mean, that's
I mean,
a
he's
personal
he's an
thing. This
extreme.
guy's yes.
Which
And I mean, he
an
has a
understatement.
whole method to go through before.
Extreme's
the-
an understatement. You should
the irony
It's
too
wild.
of like a lot of people like you hear those like quotes from those old like 88 years old and like what's one thing you regret? Well, I regret like not doing more or not seeing my family or like going out. Like he is sacrificing or he's taking on this burden and sacrificing like a lot of like social situations because that guy sounds like a
yes and no. So hit like the whole idea like right now in like the the Andrew Huberman like health kind of space. Everybody knows what lifespan means. How long you're gonna live. The goal and the focus right now in like the health community is health span. How
I've
healthy
heard this
are
recently.
you
Yeah,
at 80? So most people now think of someone that's 80, 85 years old as frail,
Yeah.
on tons of medications, sitting down watching TV, not healthy 85. So great, you made it to 85, but how much
Yeah,
life are you living? Versus
Getting
like
up
a
off
lot
the
of
couch,
that,
you can break your ankle.
he's
like,
not thinking like I want to live to 200, just make it there and I'm
yeah.
dead. He wants to be vital, healthy
Yeah.
as long as he can. So yeah, again,
What a cool
I'm not
like mission.
I'm
like,
I'm not saying this guy is how you should live. I think he's crazy and he should do a little bit more living. But a lot of these sacrifices are so that you will be healthier and more vital when you're older. You
Well,
can
And I think-
move when you're 90 and not like,
And
all
I
right,
think
I got to get my
personally-
walker,
Yeah, and I think personally, like, for the people like that who are willing to take that time and willing to essentially experiment with their own bodies in that way, it's like, as a species, we get to see that and see how far he does go, and see what actually comes of that. Like, he's essentially pulling an extreme, but by pulling the extreme, can we see how far that actually can take us?
I just wrote down astronaut because as you were explaining that, it reminds me of rather than traveling to space, he's traveling to the future. He's trying to like be the first person. He's taking on this crazy, he's sacrificing his life essentially, like like doing what you want, being like in God's world. It's like we have freedom of decision. No, I just butchered that whole God
God's
reference.
world, we have freedom of speech.
All
I
right.
think that's just America.
Yeah. So, anyways,
God's country.
but like, so he's doing what he needs to do. Like when we built the rockets and we sent someone up there, like we don't know what's gonna be up there when the first time we went. So we don't know what a 200-year-old life is gonna look like. So he's trying to not just go there, but also, like you said, like in a healthy way, not frail, like not just getting across the finish line. Like how far can the human body be, like to the extreme? So then the average person can dial it back to fit their lifestyle, which one of the things that I find most interesting. So this kind of like bled off of the mushroom talk. When I'm listening to Huberman or a lot of the like even David Goggins got like a mindset like Dad, just do it, just to go like
I would not.
it
Look, I love Dad. He does not have a David Goggins mindset.
No. But like in his advice,
I don't know who the guy is, so I won't take that as an insult.
in his advice,
Nobody does.
Yeah, in his advice, he has the David, like, yeah, just get up and do it. Just go and do it. Just do it. I'm not saying he is David Goggins. And
Yeah.
anyways, so like, but all these people like say the different things that you can do. Like, you know, these supplements are really good for you. This is like doing, you know, saunas and cold baths and this and that. These are all great things for you. But not all people have access to those things at all times. One of the great things about sleep, it's not a supplement. It's not like a you know, physical thing. It's not anything that you have to go do. Anybody can incorporate that sleep into their life. And especially coming from Brian Johnson, supposedly, like, that is the like the most important thing. So I don't know. I like it. It's amazing to me to think about, like, I always thought, like, all right, the most important thing is, like, you know, exercise or like after an exercise, making sure you get your protein, and now I have to go get my protein. And like you said,
If you're
I would
bulking maybe.
But regardless, whatever you're trying to do, like, you're thinking about all the supplements that, like, okay, now that's a cost, you know,
So-
a budget, and like, but like sleep doesn't affect anything. You just have to start prioritizing. Everybody can do that. Everybody can incorporate better sleep into their life.
Mhm.
It's just fascinating to me. It's like, it's not a pill. It's not a this. It's not that. It's the easiest thing to do. It's the thing that most people, you know, when they're stressed or overwhelmed, there's like, I wish I could be home sleeping right now. Like, even when you're out doing something, or maybe when you get older, like, I'm an old man already. So like,
You didn't say sleep in the afternoon.
Well,
what does he say about naps? Do you know? He say-
Yes. Naps are okay if they're under a certain amount of time. I think it's like,
Under 10 minutes.
no. No, it's
And
like less
that's
than an hour
what-
and a half. And if it doesn't interfere with you going to bed at the right time.
that
So
is
if
a
you
big
take an
one.
afternoon nap and now you just feel more rejuvenated till 10 and you usually go to bed at 9,
Yeah.
that
that the
do
other
not
day.
nap. You got to push through that. Well, one thing, I mean, that I feel like you discredited Huberman and some other people for a certain thing, but Huberman in particular, his whole mantra is like science-based tools and zero-cost tools for everyday life. So he'll always tell you what the science says and what the supplements are, but if it's a behavioral change or
Yeah.
a body, mental, or physical change, he always, on all of his episodes, will provide zero-cost tools.
Oh, right.
Always. So he'll tell you, yeah, cold ice baths are good.
Yeah.
Cold showers aren't as good, but here's the cold shower protocol.
Right.
If you want to try to, so still listen to these guys because
Yeah.
they know what they're talking about. But
I'm
there's
glad
another,
you touched on that, because I didn't mean to discredit.
yeah. There's another guy in that space. His name's Peter Attia. He's an MD. Huberman's not a physician. He's a
Right.
scientist in a sense. But he I forget what he calls it. He calls it like his centenarian decathlon or something like that. Basically, the 10 things that he wants to be able to do when he's 100.
Oh.
So he has these 10 activities that he schedules his whole like workout routine around. Like, one is he wants to be able to fly on an airport and put his own luggage above the seats
At 100 years old?
at 100 years old. So he does like upper body stuff,
Yeah.
knowing obviously he's got everything dialed in. So he knows what the average like muscle deteriorates over time. So he knows what he should be able to lift at 50 so that he can lift a suitcase at this. One is picking up his great-grandchildren off the ground, being able to stand up, bend down, and pick up. So he does lots of goblet squats, deadlifts, and things like that to strengthen those things so that when he gets to this age, he's not the guy that can't pick up his great-grandchild. So that's a concept, like that health span concept. It's not making it to
Right.
100. Like, yeah, modern medicine, trust me, I see it all the time. Like,
Right.
people that are 87 that shouldn't be alive anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad they are for them and their families, but it's just like, what kind of life is having to get like wheelchaired in? All you can do is really watch TV. Like, you can't move. You're on 15,000 medications. Every time you have something go on, you got to go to the hospital to get
Yeah.
treated. And it's just like, that's not the ideal to make it to 85 if that's what 85 looks like.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that's
is there
what sleep
still
helps.
Brian Johnson, or is this the other guy you were talking about?
The 10 things he wants to do in his 100 is Peter Attia,
Peter
Attia.
okay.
But like what sleep does is it helps you recover. This might be a poor analogy, but like almost like people think steroids, like anabolic steroids, grow your muscles. They don't grow your muscles. They allow you to recover quicker. So the damage that you're putting on your muscles, everything's recovering so you can do way more volume. I could give you all the steroids in the world. You're not just going to get jacked if you go sit on the couch, but you can be in the gym for 3-4 hours and like every week you're bulking up, you're making gains, and it just allows you to recover. So sleep, obviously not as effective as chemical anabolic steroids, but sleep just enhances your ability to recover from everything.
Yeah, right.
Helps your
Dude,
brain recover from hard work.
Whenever I'm sick, dude, I am sleeping, waking up, having a small snack, sleeping, waking up, drinking water, sleeping. Like, if I can get over almost anything in like, I feel like this is a very dad thing to say. I can get over anything in 24 hours. Yeah. Just give me, if I have the day off, I just
give me time to sleep.
Yeah, I just like, and when I had done that in the past, I used to like get mad at myself. I just wasted away a day, especially if it's a nice day outside. I would just been inside like sleeping. But I've seen how much better because you're just recovering quicker.
Yes.
So now, like, yeah, I wasted a 24-hour day.
That's right.
But I didn't have 7 days of 50%.
Right. That's it.
That's
one day of 0%, so you can get back to 100% instead of like 7 days of 50%. Like
right. Anyways, you said this last time. I think after the podcast, like once you get on, like we're not joking anymore. It's just like very. here's a thing, and here's another thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, I feel like it's probably because most of the time when we're not here, we just joke around.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, maybe something about the cameras and the microphones and the headphones brings up different topics instead of just laughing and BSing, because we do plenty of that already.
Right. But one of the things that I've kind of been trying to, it's something that like on my walks and in my journal, I've been really trying to find an understanding for myself so that I could later on kind of apply it to the world. But I really want to understand comedy in the world, but not just humor, even though that's kind of like the path that I'm on right now is obviously comedy, comical, but almost more of the whole Shakespearean, where it's like it's a twist, it's a way to pace yourself through life, so it's not always fast or always slow. It's a change of pace at times, and when you're looking back at events or thinking about memories, it's the comedy of the thing that I think allows you to hold on to that memory. But I love to really get to know the different things within comedy for individuals, and I want to like start learning about how different individuals, utilize comedy in their daily life. I like to look at it as, and I've said, I know the past like 4 episodes, you're probably annoyed at this, but there's the type of comedy that someone has that they use to make other people laugh. And then there's the type of comedy that makes them laugh. And oftentimes they're not aligned, but they overlap a good bit, or sometimes more or sometimes less. But I feel like over the years, one of the things that I've kind of always done is I know who to recommend a stand-up special to. Mm-hmm. Like there's certain people like, I think way back when you recommended Bill Burr to Dad, and that's when I started it started to click and register.
And Dimitri Martin to Mom.
Dimitri Martin, and then I was like, oh, all right. So I thought it was Bill Burr was the funniest thing, and in the past, I'm like, I don't get why Mom doesn't think that's funny. It's obviously funny. It's like, no, she has a very unique, style that she enjoys. So I kind of wanted to talk about the different things, because the two of you make me laugh, and especially like you make me laugh in not the hardest, but like in the most memorable ways. Like when you tell me wake up, just wake up. Like I'm forever thinking about that. Like the things that you make me laugh about, I think about for weeks at a time. And then and the other side of this,
again, the dad jokes, right? That's what they call dad jokes.
He's worse with dad jokes.
Arguably better, right? Isn't that the thing with dad jokes?
True. Yes.
The worse they are, the better they are.
But like the two of you, I I don't know why. I think it's just like an innate human thing, but I feel like you two are the most important people that I try to always make laugh. Like, like if I make both of you laugh, then I know I was funny. Like I can make my friends laugh all the time, and you know it's cool. Like I always like making people laugh, but I know I'm actually funny if the two of you laugh. Especially if I make Dad laugh, that means I kept it like, you know, not it
PC?
wasn't too yeah, it was PC enough.
Are you saying it's hard for me to laugh?
No, it's not hard. Like you laugh a lot at my jokes, but like
I think it's the anxiety of being the son and then also swearing in front of him.
yeah. But for like
He knows better.
when my friends say that I'm funny, I'm like, okay, I like. Thanks for the compliment. It's a nice compliment. But if you guys say I'm funny, it's like, man, I might cry. Like it just means way more. Like,
All right, you're not funny because we don't want you to cry.
We did plenty of that last time out.
93, check it out. But that's kind of my point. Like the funny thing about that is like if I'm not funny to you guys, it motivates me to like try to be funnier. So like I set you guys as my like parameters. If I can tell a story, if I can articulate a thought in a way that, like, when I tell Dad, I can tell Chris the same story, even if I change it up to Chris's audience. But if I can make him laugh about the same topic, like one of the ones recently was how we bought a Nintendo Switch. So, like, going through like, realizing what it is to have a girlfriend and to have someone that, like, you got to do some certain things that you don't want to do, and you know that you're just all right. Let's do the thing. So like I told you a different version than I told Dad that like transcribing, but I made both of you laugh. You made me laugh harder when you're like, yeah, that you get it now, and I'm like,
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
This isn't much of a story. This is just life.
Yeah.
What's probably two things. It's probably one, like if we're the people that make you laugh, right? You're trying to hit the bar. You have the standard set. So you feel better when you
Right.
right?
It's like
When you're
if
living up to-
you put a game on beginner and you beat it, it's like cool,
Yeah,
I beat
yeah.
it. But if you put it on the hardest mode and like
And
you win, it's
how are
like,
you going to get better at the game? Playing on beginner or playing
Right.
on expert and starting? So, and then the other thing is we're just the people you've been around the most. So it means more to get approval from the people you care more about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, like comedians like making comedians laugh, probably more so than they like Joe Schmo sitting in row 7
right.
laugh, right? Because those are their peers, those are the people they're around. So it's probably a combination of both of those things.
So, what kind of comedy makes you laugh, Dad? What's your?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what
Three
definition of
Three Stooges,
comedy.
yeah.
No, who's that Italian? The Italian
Oh,
guy.
Sebastian.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
I like
Very-
that
very-
kind of
Animated.
Yeah,
It's the animated. It's bringing like the old into the new.
You know what it is? It's a character.
the character. Yeah.
It's the character almost more than the joke.
No,
Like,
it's. I think sometimes those things are like speak relevancy to me, growing up as well.
Well, that's
You know what I
that's
mean?
the job of the comic, because
So
if you have a funny joke but it doesn't relate to anybody in the room, no one's gonna laugh. In that point, it's not really that funny. So you have to tie it to something that, especially the bigger you get, the more people like your joke's going to reach, the more relatable it is.
yeah, I think
Has
it's
to have-
I think it's character to it. You're right. I think it's more of a character and how they react to
Yeah.
their own and how they move around and those kind of things.
It's kind of why Sebastian is like one of the biggest comics, because like not saying he's not funny or his jokes are bad or anything, but he is funny for everybody because it's not just the joke that you're laughing at.
right.
So even that's why like Dad will laugh and so will Samantha, or like most people are going to enjoy Sebastian. I don't really enjoy Sebastian. I just feel like it's very boring. It's very lazy. His joke structure is very obvious to me. Like I know where he's going with everything.
The pacing and
Yeah, and there's no twists for me. Like I know where the story's going. I know what's gonna be said. He's just gonna use a different word this time instead of whatever. Like, so I get why he and the things that I don't like about him is why I think he's such a global like success is because it works for everybody. You don't even have to like really, you can hear his emotion and his tone behind his joke. So if you don't speak English and he's telling that same joke and you see him doing his animated, like, and you could hear the emotion in his voice, like, you're still going to laugh at that. Like, you don't necessarily need the words of the joke to laugh at Sebastian. So I like the you know,
But that's hard. That's hard to do too.
yeah, and that's why, like,
So he's talented.
so
for sure.
so if that's my, like, I'm not saying he's a bad comic. Like, that's what makes him one of the best is because, like, he found a way to do that to the widest audience. I like the comedy that makes you think. That's why when it comes to like technically all comedy should make you think, but when it comes to like dark humor or when people say it too soon, I disagree with that sentiment because it's about the timing.
I don't
so
think
like,
it's making you think. I think you like comedy that pushes boundaries in a sense, like saying stuff that's
okay.
not supposed to be like ooh. when
right,
someone-
right. But so that I definitely pick up on that because I start to then think about it, and maybe this is where my correlation is. I start to then think about like, why is that funny? Like, why is that like, ooh, why is him saying that word like crazy? One of my like favorite bits is Louis C.K. Talking about the N-word. He's like, I hate when people use the N-word, blah, blah, blah. And then he eventually says the word, and it like the actual N-word, and he's like, I hate the N-word because you're in my brain telling me to say the N-word. Like, just say the word. You do the work.
Like that's what saying a word is.
Yeah.
You just said the N-word, and now I'm thinking it, so it makes it my problem.
Yeah.
Just say the word.
Say it so it's your fault. Like,
yeah.
So like I like that you know that idea where it's like, okay, so let's break it. So I think Louis C.K. is like one of my favorite styles. What about you?
Well, I think he's like you just said, you like comedians that make you think, and he definitely like has that like really intelligent sort of approach. But I think what makes you laugh about Louis is that he executes saying what you're not supposed to say, but his kind of subcategory is in an intelligent manner.
Right.
You know, because there's a lot of there's a lot of comics that say stuff you're not supposed to say that make you laugh, but they have different like approaches to that. So I think the main head of what you like is just saying wild stuff, but then you like Louis C.K. who approaches it this way. You like this guy.
It's like it, and he used to open for Louis. Shane Gillis is like that, but instead of doing the intelligent subcategory, it's like the dumb guy. It's like, I'm just dumb. I'm I didn't know. What was that?
Because like the thoughtful comedian would be like Joe Rogan, but you don't really like Joe Rogan's comedy.
Right.
But he's a very like think of it this way kind of comedian. You know, and he's got
a comedian.
That's
that's
his whole life
that's
started.
that's just
He does podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wrestler.
You're muted. You're muted.
Right. I knew him mainly as like the guy who did like Fear Factor. Like that's how I knew him. I didn't know him about like that he did podcasts until way later. I didn't know that he did.
I knew him from NewsHour. I don't
News
even know if
Radio.
that,
I don't-
News Radio. That's what.
Okay, and I didn't even know he did like
he did for a little bit.
comedy until I heard about the whole Carlos Mencia thing. Like all that was all news to me.
The guy's a pretty
later.
talented guy.
That's where he started.
That
That's
guy's a a fighter.
UFC
and-
commentator.
Yeah,
Jeez, that's pretty talented.
Entrepreneur.
does some kickboxing.
Jeez.
Yeah. Technically, he started as
He's a
like
black
MMA.
belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and then from MMA like transitioned.
Yeah,
to
he was
comedy.
winning like state tournaments and
Yeah.
stuff, and I think he did Muay Thai. Was where he started.
But that leads me to like the final point. What's the comedy that you've at least lately been really like into? Like any recent specials or?
No, I haven't watched much stand up
He's a dad.
recently.
I
Yeah,
know.
I haven't done
watches-
much of anything, dude.
He watches those Disney whatever they are.
Yeah, dude.
But I mean, that's a category like
that is
literally,
comedy there too.
Your daughter, like that's
Oh yeah, you
It's
want to
very-
call my daughter a stand-up comedian? Sure, she's a stand-up, fall on the ground comedian, sitting in the high chair saying wild stuff comedian too.
but it's
Throw
like
food around.
Oh my god.
it's like all those like things are just like, and then she does the one cute thing, and you're like,
100%.
it's the funniest thing you've seen. And like, but she needs to do all those like things that make you work more in order to make that like worth it, like that to actually be funny. Because if she just like when I go over there and she does something funny, it's funny to me because like I don't see it a lot. But I feel like it's even funnier to you because you just like you kind of relinquish the like, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. Like, no, another thing. It's like that made it all worth it. Like, so it's like, and that's what the power of comedy to me. It's like that's what I love about. It's the thing that kind of resets you. It sets the pace, and you're not gonna remember. You're gonna remember that you did pick things up, but you're not gonna have an explicit memory of like picking up, every single day the food on the floor or whatever. But you're gonna remember the one time where the first time she threw it behind her, and you're like, I saw you do that, and she's like, oh, like you're gonna remember that exact moment so well because it was like the change of the pace. It was like, so it set the course, for our memories, but also like I think just like in life when you're going too fast or you're not getting enough sleep or whatever it may be. But so you have no comics, no podcasts, not comedy.
I mean,
but
I still
know
listen to
you.
the same sort of podcasts.
Yeah.
I think like Congratulations and Two Bears, but most of the podcasts I listen to are still like
Yeah.
Huberman and
Right.
stuff like that. No, I don't think. I think the last time I sat and watched a full special, start to finish, was Bill Burr at Red Rocks,
Wow.
which was like in September or something like that.
Yeah.
I started Razzle Dazzle, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I think I was just saying that earlier.
Yeah. Geo pointed something like whenever I'm watching specials, I like almost can't enjoy them anymore because I just like am breaking them down. I want to I love the craft, the art form. So like I try to understand the joke. Like why did they lead you down this way to switch it up this way? And then like, why did they build it up and punch it up with this joke? And why did they put that one for like, I'm breaking down all of the words being said. Gio pointed out that like, he thinks he heard
I don't think I heard. I know I heard laughing tracks.
laugh tracks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially the first like 10, 15 minutes. It was just like, that is an obvious laugh track.
I think he talked about that.
I thought he did too. I thought
What
he
laugh
talked about like how
It's when like you hear like it's not a real audience
not an
laughing.
audience. Oh.
yeah, it's a pre-recorded
like
laughter.
watching all those
Oh,
90s sitcoms.
Yeah.
It's like someone, you can just tell someone's pushing a button.
And when he said that, it made me think back to when I was watching it, which I just like, I was like, he's not as funny as like his success is bigger than his humor. I think I think he is a very talented comedian to get to.
Well,
do the
he's a
things
character guy too. People like that
right.
character, so they want to go see him. I'm sure his live shows are great because you get to see
Yeah.
him take his shirt off and be wild on stage and stuff. But
Yeah, it's like right now, like Taylor Swift is touring. I bet those are like really fun to go to it, whether you listen to Taylor Swift or not. It's just like a
that's why
fun
people
event.
still go to like Rolling Stone concerts and
Right.
stuff like that. It was definitely better in 1978,
Right.
but
so I am not taking anything away. I just think his comedy too is not like, he's not very funny. He has some great stories and he does tell them very well. But I was like, yeah, it didn't seem that funny. There were some parts that really make me laugh. So then when Gio pointed out that there was a laugh track, I was like, I felt it when I was watching it, but I didn't know. Like I didn't pick up on that. Like, but I just didn't feel the energy. I just like, so yeah, and I haven't liked his past
I'm
couple
excited
specials.
for Tom Segura's.
Oh my gosh, it's
I
gonna
think
be
he's
it's gonna be
my
what we
favorite
saw.
right now. Not really though. It sounds like he changed a couple bits around because he recorded it in April or something. No.
No,
February. He
yeah,
recorded
yeah.
a few months
Months ago.
after the show that we went to,
Right.
and he said he recorded like 75 minutes of material, and he's gonna cut it back to an hour. So there might be some stuff that we didn't.
Well, he's definitely not gonna do the bit about the crazy guy that lives up the street.
Oh, right.
Well, he'll probably do the bit, but like the best part of the bit. So he's like.
Oh, he says
so-
who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it's a big CEO for this company. He's like, it's a pharmaceutical company, blah, blah, blah. big CEO, big CEO.
Yeah.
And then he like tells this story about the guy being like a weirdo, and he goes, yeah, that's so. Oh, that's what he's like. I'm never going back to CVS or whatever the company was.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, so you just punch it up. It was like the funniest part of the
Are
joke.
you purposely not saying what it was, or you forget?
Wasn't it
It was Rite Aid.
Rite Aid? I knew it wasn't CVS or Walgreens, so I was kind of purposely trying to like lead it away. But yeah, I don't know. Can I get sued?
Who knows? I guess we'll find out.
I don't even know if it's a CEO. But anyways, yeah, I think we got the comedy talk and the interesting dad talk, and it's been a fun birthday vibe. Thank you guys for tuning into my birthday special episode. Today, May 14th.
Where's the cake? Oh, we
No,
should
it's right there on top
That was
of the
your. That
arugula.
was your. Yeah.
Go-to.
your
The
go-to
go-to.
was the cake.
We didn't have a candle to blow
What,
off
chocolate,
the,
vanilla, or onion sardine?
Cocked onion sardine.
Yeah, cocked onion sardine.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Of course.
Do
Anytime.
you want to fade us
Always a
in?
pleasure.
Oh, this is one of my favorite birthdays. It's not even my birthday yet.
Your actual birthday would be fun.